Welcome to episode 6 of the Oh, the Stories We Tell intro. In this episode, we're going to talk about the role emotion plays in the model. You'll notice that in previous episodes, we really haven't talked anything about emotion and the role emotion plays in the model. So, as a recap, basically what we say is there are 3 questions. What's the story I'm telling? Is the story I'm telling serving me in this moment? And if it's not, is there a story that I can tell that's more authentic? And so then when you look at the second question, is the story serving me? We say if it does not serve you, it goes above the line. And if it does serve you, it goes below the line. And this will make a lot more sense as we go on, why that is. But that is a binary question with a binary yes or no answer. It either isn't serving me and above the line or is serving me and is below the line. But none of those 3 questions ask, hey, how you feeling? What's going on emotionally? Are you okay? And the reason is what I think is critically important in this model is that we understand that emotion is an indicator and not a fact. So when emotion is a fact, we say things like, I have just had it with you, or it's the worst day ever, or I'm so angry at you. And all of those things are kind of facts. They're presented as facts. And the problem with emotions as a fact is that we have a tendency to stop at that point because the inner assumption, the underlying assumption is that it's not changeable. It is what it is. It's a fact. I can't change it. And so the reason that we don't start with those 3 questions, anything having to do with emotions, is because we kind of want to circumvent that sense that emotions are facts. Now, typically what's going to get us to ask the first question, what's the story I'm telling, is I don't feel good. So emotion is a trigger for us to ask the question, ideally, but that is all the role it plays. Simply as a trigger for you to say, hey, gee, what's going on? What's the story I'm telling? What am I thinking? Is it serving me in this moment? If it's not, now how do I go about and change my story about what's going on from something that doesn't serve me above the line to something that does serve me below the line? But it's clear that emotion does play a huge role in our lives. So let's talk about how emotion fits in this model. So again, above the line is thinking and stories that don't serve us. And when you think about it, the things that we do that don't serve us can have a pretty powerful range of emotion, from anger on the negative side to rage. On the positive side, it's the enabler. Oh, I just want everything to be all right. It's the crazy cult leader who's going to give you the best life you've ever had. And all you have to do is X, Y, and Z. But there's just this kind of pull to the negative side. It's why we see so many cults where somebody is the personality that everybody's attracted to, and then things start going wrong and that person starts doing stuff that's just unconscionable. But it starts out on the positive side, and it is really, really powerful. Also, somebody who is considered narcissistic tends to be on the positive side when everything's going their way, but have a strong pull to the negative side when things aren't going their way. So above the line, there is a whole range of emotion that's available to us, and it tends to be more animated. It's because fear is at the basis of our thinking and our stories above the line. And because fear is up there, then all kinds of other accompanying emotions follow. I feel victimized. I feel powerless. Those are some of the kind of the core feelings that go with above the line thinking. So when you think about things like anger, anger is I'm angry at you because you did something, or I'm angry at myself because blah, blah, blah. But I feel like a victim. I don't feel like I have agency, that sort of thing. On the positive side above the line, typically what people are doing is trying to mask the negative feelings that they have by putting on a happy face. And these feelings can get stronger and stronger as we get more and more animated in what we're thinking about. Below the line, we're in solution mode. Above the line, you're fearful, you're focused on the problem. Below the line, we're far more open and allowing of what's going on. We may be witnessing something that's really negative, but we're below the line, we're looking at how do I solve this? What's the way that I solve the story that might have started above the line? What am I doing to bring it below the line and have it be a story that serves me? So what I'm looking to do is I'm open to understanding what's going on, trying to bring more context to it, and then trying to bring context to myself and how I can look at that thing and not make it all positive and happy, because that's just positive thinking above the line, but how I can find a centered and grounded place to deal with these kinds of things. It doesn't negate an awful thing happening. It just says, here I am now. I want to be below the line. I want that story to, whatever it was, to serve me, even though it may not have in the moment. I want it to serve me now. I want the way that I was messed with in school by bullies to now serve me. And to be able to look at this model is a great way to say, oh my gosh, not only can I find value in that for me, here I am, and I'm whole, and I've held on to that story, but now it's time to let go. It also helps me to understand the bully and why the bully did what he was doing. So what happens is, above the line on the negative side, I mentioned anger. Below the line is frustration. I'm frustrated, but I have a sense of agency in my ability to create a story that serves me around whatever it is that I'm thinking about. Below the line, there's just not as much of a range of emotion, because I don't feel a need to have that, because I don't feel that feeling of fear, those feelings of victimization, powerlessness. Below the line, I may not like what I'm looking at, but I know I have agency in how I define what it is and how it affects me. So all of a sudden, the amount of emotion below the line is dramatically reduced. And so now, if what you do is you think of negative emotion on one side, positive emotion on the other, and then realize that there's much greater range of emotion above the line and much less below the line, what happens is we end up with a V. And that V, at the further south we go, the more centered, the more at ease we are, the more often we feel feelings of contentment and joy the further down that we go. It's where love lives. It's where we are initially in a relationship, kind of at the bottom of that V. But in essence, what you have is emotion getting much more strong above the line and much less strong below the line. So now what we're in is a place when we're able to take any story, whether it's positive or negative. Positives are a little harder to define and to catch. But when we're able to look at any story where we're above the line, feeling fearful, feeling powerless, feeling victimized, and to take it down below the line, we have far less emotion and we feel way, way better. And this is why emotions aren't facts, they're indicators of, hey, if I'm above the line and not feeling good about what's going on, or feeling too good, and then something happens and it doesn't go just the way I want it, and over to the negative side I go, that is the kind of thing that I'm trying to get my arms around and come below the line and say, how do I create that space that allows me to take the emotions that I'm feeling above the line and have them be much, much more centered and grounded below the line. I can still be frustrated. I can still not like what's going on, but I have a sense of agency. I'm far more open to what's going on and to putting it in perspective. So that is how emotion works in the model. Thanks for being here for this one. We'll see you on the next one. I'm Chris Templeton, the founder of Oh, the Stories We Tell. Thanks for being here. One last thing. Would you do me a favor and give me a thumbs up on this video? And also, if you want to see more, hit subscribe. If you want to see them right away, click on the bell. And then please, please feel free to give me any feedback that you have. More than anything else, I want to hear what people think, to answer their criticisms. And that's a great way to do it, is by leaving a message. Finally, you can find me at ohthestorieswetell.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Oh, the Stories We Tell, and also at patreon.com/Oh, the Stories We Tell if you want to support me financially and also have the ability to see what's going on behind the curtains, which may be fun. Who knows? Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much.